Hey guys, what's going on? It's Sport the Aussie here, your favourite motorsport manager, Double M, like the golden arches of McDonald's, except we're finger looking good. I don't even know what the That didn't make any sense. I've got to address something. I made a huge mistake about Charles Leclerc, or Leclerc, however people want to pronounce it. There's one mistake. The second mistake is, I thought he was Polish. I thought that flag, the red and the white, or the white and the red, was a Polish flag. You know, it kind of surprised me that Poland actually might have a good driver other than Robert Kubica, like a potential champion in their midst. And then I'm told, like, by all these people in the comment section of the last video, does that sound better? The last video from last season was like, hey man, by the way, he's actually from Monaco. That's actually the Monaco flag. In fact, some people were offended by the fact that I didn't know that. Like, I'm Australian, you know, European history, we know most of the flags. Like, I know Estonia, Ukrainian, I know all the Eastern Europe, you know, but like the inverse version of the Poland flag, like who would know that? Seriously, and who's actually born in like Monaco? I don't know anyone. Like I know people become citizens of Monaco, like David Coulthard, because it's like a tax haven, right? That's what his dad made him do, but I had absolutely no idea. It's like saying to you guys, what is this flag over here right now? Or on this side, which way would it be looking? What is that flag? And you're probably like, I've got no idea because I'm actually from England and that flag doesn't resonate anything. Is it New Zealand? It's not New Zealand. Props to you if you can actually tell me in the comment section below what you think the actual flag is from, like what country it's from. Now that that's out of the way, let's get on with the round. So far, the car's starting to look a little bit better. We're 8th best on the grid. We're above Renault, above RGP, behind Toro Rosso. We've still got a little bit of way to make up. 7th best in engine. Gearbox is 9th, but here's the tricky thing. There's no point developing any more gearboxes because you know why, guys? In the last video, you guessed it, we voted to have a spec gearbox, which means starting next season, everyone has the same gearbox. So there's going to be no advantage, no disadvantage for running a gearbox or upgrading it now. It's just a waste of money because literally there is 2 rounds to go. Is it only 2 rounds? Let's have a look. It's, Sao Paulo and Bahrain. Yes, it is. So that's a good news. Brakes are 7th. Front wing is 6th. So that's actually not too bad. Suspension can be improved greatly. It's sitting at 9th, which is a bit of a hassle considering that even Renault's above us. Rear wing is 5th. I've got absolutely no idea how our rear wings are 5th. Actually, I do. We keep building illegal components. We've got to keep building illegal components, guys. That's the only way we're going to be able to leapfrog these other teams. But so far, so good. I'm actually looking forward to the Sao Paulo GP. It always brings a bit of a mixed bag with weather conditions. Like it rains at the start of the race, and you know you either go out in slicks, you go out in rainy tires, and then it gets cloudy, and then it gets really hot. It's not indicating that there's any chance of rain at the moment, but you never know. That track is always a bit of a surprise. So let's just keep this train running. We've also got some sponsor offers for our 3rd slot. Now, Oris. 3 stars, $250,000, 11 races. That would be 2,750,000. Okay, the one in the middle, Richard Mille, I don't even have to work that out to know that that's not a good deal. Like, straight up the bat, 15 races, 2.5 with a payout of 1 mil. 4 races additional. No, because we're better off getting rid of the sponsor than possibly signing up a better one straight away. So Pinder, 12 races, 1.6 mil payout up front. 150,000 times 12 is 1.8 mil. Collectively, that would be 3.4. On 2 stars for 12 races? That is such a better deal. At 2 stars, that deal is much better than Oris anyway. What the hell? Why would you pick the other one? Someone tell me in the comment section below if I've actually made a blunder with my mathematics, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. Right? Anyway, I really wanted to stick to, you know, the actual companies that we know, like KFC. That is an awesome sponsor. Rexona, Epson, Petrobras. Is that supposed to be like a UK type of oil? Because we have BP, British Petroleum. Well, that is British. KPMG is, as far as I know, that's the finance/accounting firm. Netherlands? Really? Let's move this track forward. Mechanics complaining about something. What else are they not complaining about? So here we go. I've heard a few rumblings from some of the mechanics that they're not happy working in the factory. They do not have quite long hours. They do have quite long hours. What am I saying? What should I tell them? For $500,000, both mechanics get a 25 plus bonus, or they get -5. I'm going to go with -5. I'm not paying them $500,000. Like, what is this? A $250,000 bonus because they've complained? Seriously, we could pick them up at a dime a dozen. Let's have a bit of a look. Does that actually affect any relationship? Yeah, it affects Alex Gray's. It brings her back down below the 100% mark, which is bad because we actually do want that super overtake mode. But we might find, if we go to details, what is the relationship at the moment? It needs a couple of more weeks. We got like 1.5 weeks to say Apollo. They're not going to make up that 5%. That's a little bit unfortunate, guys. That's a bit of a roll the dice with this game. You get all those random scenarios. I'm curious to see in GP2 who's going well so far. Felipe Nasser, Felix da Costa, Ericsson, Marcelo, King, Sainz, Verloin. It's not Verloin. Someone told me in the comments it's Verloin. Verloin. Must be funny when you try to pronounce like European names. I bet you guys can't pronounce Islander names. Like, if you go to, like, New Zealand, you try to pronounce some of the names, it's like Fakatoa, or Fukumi, you know, stuff like that. And you're just like, what are you saying? But we're rolling forward with this. We're going to get underway. Let's have a look. Before we travel to Sao Paulo, let's just have a quick look at our... Let's have a quick look at how our scouting's going so far. So, we've got a lot of drives. See, that's the Estonian flag. I didn't even have to look. Estonian flag, correct? I can't highlight it and check. But that is the Estonian flag. I'm 99.99% sure. Anyway, we're scouting for players. Joey Mawson, that's an Australian? Never even heard of him. He seems to be a bit of a struggle. I think he's a no-name. No-name Neville. We don't have any names that we can see that are coming up. You know what? I can actually check if there's any more staff that have regened or drivers that are regen, because I always hit scout driver on everyone to get him inside the queue. So if there's any new names up there that have blanks, that means they've just regened inside the game, and that doesn't seem to be the case. Let's just scout all these other guys. That guy's name is Wing Chung Chan. Wing Chung Chan. Wing Chung Chan. Stein Sturthurst. I should just do a video where I'm pronouncing all these drivers' names. Seriously. Is that Richie Stanaway? Richie Stanaway. Oh, god damn it. Just click the button. Ralph Aron. Is that another Estonian? Maybe it's not the Estonian flag. Pedro Pique? Cool, we'll get those names on the way. A bit of a shocker look. What are we going to do for our sponsorship? 10th or above. We're always going to do that. I mean, that's where we're hitting, and it's the highest bonus. Wow, Petrobras is 1.6 mil. Why is it 1.6 mil? Because it's officially at the Brazilian track, and we get like a 2.5 modifier. You know what? Let's risk it for the biscuit. Let's try to qualify or come in a race at 6. Now, we've never been able to do that, ever. So, for us to be able to succeed in that, that would be huge. That would be really good. All we have to do is do one of those objectives, and we already get more than the total bonus prize pool of Roxonas anyway. So that's a bit of a catch-22. Let's go to Ultra Soft Tyres, 9, 5 into softs. That's what we always do, guys. Next year, the tyres are going to be set for us. Let's stack. What do we want to do? Do we want to go back to Schumacher? Do we want to try Schumacher? You know what, let's go back to Schumacher. Let's give Schumacher the better car. I know a few of you guys have been wanting to see Schumacher back on the old dog, you know, getting a bit of a bump and grind on. All these other components don't seem to be just yet. So what else do we have? So Schumacher's going to be rejoining with a much better car. So that's going to be an interesting feat to see if he can actually come up with the goods. And there we go. Well, there's a lot more components to this. Look how funny it's gone, because it's not used to scrolling at this menu, I don't think. But one thing I want to know from you guys is, a lot of people seem to be saying this, at the end of the season, while you're developing the car, you can technically do a workaround way that you can start fixing the reliability of components, so that when you start the season, you're at 100% reliable for everything that you've had as a base stock item. Now, my understanding is, and this was recently asked in an MMA and an AMA, Ask Me Anything, of a developer in a Reddit thread for one of the actual developers of the game. And the way he was talking about it was that shouldn't really be an option, because technically the AI starts off with worse components. And you think about this logically, right? If you think about this logically, that at the end of the day, Wow, this is actually the long circuit. This is going to be a right drive. I'm pretty sure we got to put up the rear wing a little bit. Tyre choice, we might just put the front wing. Gearbox, sorting that out. As soon as I get under practice, let's just keep our chat going. In we go. Start. Take practice. So, a lot of you guys have been saying in the comment section, and it's an often debate. So what happens is when you start to develop a car, you can technically start to work on the reliability while it's still being developed. Now, you think about this logically. If a component is still being developed, how can you be fixing the reliability of the component? The normal screen where you go to fix the reliability of a component it disappears. It's basically no longer there. So the way I see it is that you're kind of cheating because it's not an intended mechanic of this game. And in the spirit of the game, I don't like to do it. Because all the computer, the AI, who you race against, have to start with bad reliable components. We know that because we always do the first 2 races and people are dropping out like flies. So let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think? Do you guys still use that workaround? Do you actually think that is correctly implemented? Or do you think that it should have been stopped? Like, it should have definitely have been blocked out and that they've just keep missing it in the patch? Or it's one of those items where they just haven't been able to find a way in order to patch. Let me know in the comment section below. I'm really keen to hear what you guys have to say about that. Going to get Schumacher into the group. As for Leclerc, I'm just doing out and in laps for him because I want to check where his setup is every time we go around. In fact, Leclerc's now being held up by another car just ahead of him. Let's see if we can get these tyre temps in, bring him in. As for Schumacher, keep grinding, grind away. Perfect, perfect. So that's going to be ultimate setup for him. We're about in the 99% window. I tried to get it to 100. Let's see if we can actually get to 100 out in this lap as he comes around and into the pits. It'll be interesting to see if he can actually make up the difference. As for Leclerc, let's start to get you to do your lap. Otherwise, you are not going to be able to qualify in time. So how do we go on that last setup? We actually went down. So if we go back there, where were we? We were there. We went up, back there. Let's do a little bit of a touch there and send him out on new fresh tyres, get him to go. And hopefully he'll be able to do 2 fast laps around the circuit. But at the moment, all of our attention's on Schumacher, our young kid, the wonder boy. He's only down at the first sector by 0.5 of a second, so that would actually put him up into the top 3. Oh, look at that. Hamilton is 0.007. So this is the first time we've actually ever seen Hamilton off his throne from pole position. We might have seen it once before with Verstappen when it was raining, but other than that, it looks like there's a bit of a triumph here that Ricciardo might be able to take it by 0.007. That's like James Bond's special insignia number. There are a lot of cars around this circuit at the moment who just seem to be drizzling around at like -10 kilometers per hour. That's insane. Like, what the hell are they doing? P5? What the what? No. You're kidding me. Guys, I don't know what the hell just happened, but we have officially qualified P5. And that would be because the rear wing at this particular track is crucial. It's the most crucial component that you can do at this track. Now, the fact that we've kind of like gone fifth in our team order for that particular part means that we might be able to make up a bit of a slight gap between us and the other teams. It's perfect brake temp, good tyre temp for Leclerc. He's going to be going out and doing his lap. But that means we're actually inside our current target for our bonus. That's unbelievable. Really? So far, so good. I can't believe it. That's the highest we've ever qualified without the car. Without depending upon weather conditions, because usually we do a fast lap when it's dry, everyone else is still doing their slow lap, but we've been able to sneak away. In fact, Leclerc's only down by 0.680. Now remember, he doesn't have quite as good as a rear wing as his teammate does. In fact, it's a little bit of a borderline issue because our last 2 rear wings, second and third slot, got banned, so he's actually using a component that's not that great. As for Schumacher, we're going to look to send him out, not just yet, we'll give it a little bit more time. Allow the track temps to come up a little bit more. Leclerc, this is going to be his 1-lap dash. And where is he going to come out on? He's going to be able to jump inside the top 10 as well. That would be huge for our team. He goes 10th fastest exactly. So, not a bad outing for our team. Schumacher, being given the main car, actually steps up and says, hey guys, I'm going to put down a good time. And what does he do? He actually does an excellent time inside the top 5. Now, everyone else is going out at the moment, which means we're going to have our work cut out for us because we need to go out and do another quick lap and potentially improve on that lap time. It might be a little bit impossible to be able to do that, It'll be interesting to see how everyone else goes. It could have been that they got held up at some point. But as for Schumacher, let's send him out now. We're just going to change tyres. It's not going to take that long. In he comes, out he goes. We're actually going to be risking not making it out in time. What is it? It's about a 1 minute 30 to get around. So if we speed up, slow it just before the start, we might just be able to groove another time in for that. So that's a little bit of a risk that we're willing to take just to get that extra track grip on the ground. But where do we want to slow down? We want to slow down about here. It's a little bit later than I would have wanted. We've got 40 seconds on the clock in order to get this right. So that means I need him to go straight out and get it done. It's just going to be good. Perfect brake temp. Is he going to cross the line in time? 10 seconds and just crosses the line. Now, I stumbled a little bit there. Let's see if we can actually improve his time. No one else seems to be able to do it just yet. Van Dorn has just finished. Verstappen's finished. Schumacher is down at the first split, so there's a little bit of a surprise for us. He's not gone any faster despite the track grip going up at the moment. Second split, he's down 1.2 seconds. It doesn't look like he's going to be going any faster. Looks like Vettel jumps out ahead of us though, and we finish not improving that last lap. How much of a difference was it? It was down by 0.3 of a second. So for some reason, Schumacher channeled his inner being or his inner blood of having the race, God as his father, and then being able to stumble into the top 6 and lock it in. So we're 6th and 11th, which is technically the best we've ever done without the weather conditions. I've said that probably twice now. But that's the main thing. He's actually in the green. That's good to go. That's really good for us so far. What do we want to do with this strategy? We probably want to limit the amount of pit stops that we have to do. Let's have a look. Is it going to be wet? We know it's not going to be wet in the first 10 laps. As for trait bonuses, soft tyres, race trim, yes, that sounds good to me. Same story for young mate Charles Leclerc, both drivers being very young guns. How's the setups going? 99%. So close, yet so far from getting that illustrious 100%. What do we want to do though? It's a 28 lap race. Now we could technically go to the ultra soft tyres, then finish up on the softs. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out in the soft tyres, see how far we can go. What's everyone else doing? Everyone else around us is going to be on the ultra softs. I'm going to go out in the soft tyres, see how well we can go, and then go back down to the softs. Because if we start on the ultra soft tyres, that limits our potential. We might only be able to get to lap 9, which means then we definitely have to do a 2-stop strategy race. But if we go out in the soft tyres, which has a 15% performance increase as well, we'll know what lap we can reach and what we have to pit for. We might be able to just pit for the super soft tyres. These are just the soft tyres. How much of a difference is there? There's not that much of a difference between the two, is there? So we might have to do double 2 stints on soft tyres. But what this means, effectively, is that we can race both drivers on attack mode for as long as they possibly can until the tyre eventually blows up. 99% as well. Not able to get that illustrious 100% for him either. So let's do the same strategy. Soft tyres. He could actually last a little bit longer. Let's go to the soft tyres, see how we go, and then do the same strategy. We just want to limit ourselves to 1 stop. I imagine most teams are going to be doing that anyway. It's a long track here at Sao Paulo. It's a minute 25 on average in order to do a lap. Let's get both drivers to go into high mode just to make up that track position at the start. Remember, we're using much harder compounds as the cars around us, so I expect them to be faster to begin with regardless. Playing a little bit more conservative. Hamilton does indeed pick up the pole position. It's Ricciardo, Verstappen, Vettel, Van Dorn, and Schumacher rounding off your top 6. Surprise, surprise. We're in there with a chance. Who knows? Something bad could happen. Something good could happen. It could be complete meltdown here at Sao Paulo, but it is go, 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 and there goes Schumacher. He gets a great start off the line, jumps up into 5th position already. It looks like Van Dorn has just struggled off the line. Maybe he's got a lot of more fuel than everyone else. He shouldn't, because technically he's got the same fuel load as everyone else, because refueling is banned. But Leclerc, doing the same job, up until 11th position, well, steady at 11th position. Habsburg, Fernando, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Alonso splits the 2 drivers for race engineering. And we start off with a good start so far. Alonso, he squeezes by on the ultra soft tyres. We kind of expect that behaviour to happen quite early, and he just makes a bit of a break for it. What we could do now is, because we've kind of fiddled out and the pack is starting to lean out a little bit, we might just leave it in high mode for as long as we possibly can, and then grind it down a little bit, seeing as though everyone else seems to be pushing. We've got Vettel into complete conserve mode with his driving style. That's actually a big surprise. The other thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on is our park condition. Because we're pushing these cars much faster than what we usually do, like in attack mode for much longer, we have to keep a close eye to make sure the park condition reliability doesn't come down excessively in order to threaten a part replacement that's going to screw us over. The main thing is, bonus has been hit for our sponsor objective. We won $800,000 and potential another $800,000 if we can finish inside the top 6 still. A lot of arging and barging between the cars right now. It seems to be a bit of a safety car there. Schumacher just doesn't have the same glee with those tyres. Even Leclerc's been able to catch him, which is, again, surprising. Let's just leave it in push mode while they're into the high mode of the tyre temperature. Look at that. Both pretty clean, about 2/3 the way up. If not 3/4, depends how fancy you want to be with your quarters, 1/3, 1/5. But Leclerc actually makes a pass on Habsburg. What we saw there was Schumacher actually backed up Habsburg. He shut the door on him, and Habsburg ended up falling prey into Leclerc. So both drivers inside the top 10, both doing a pretty good job at the moment, just kind of sitting there. As you can see, Leclerc does have a personal trait that is easy on fuel, which means he gets a little bit more out of the fuel than anyone else. Look at that. At the moment, it's on negative. In order to finish, he's on negative 0.19, whereas Schumacher's on negative 0.29. So he has a little bit more engine burst that he can push down. Mick Schumacher just does a personal first best sector and a personal second best sector to follow up with that. That's pretty solid by him. As you can see, the tyres are now starting to get eaten alive. They're already down to about 77% at lap 5. So these tyres might actually get used up much faster than we first thought. So there you go. So there's something that we have to keep an eye on. Hulkenberg's tyres are absolutely blistering. Look at that. He's actually indicating he already needs to go inside the pits. So that means Hulkenberg is going to have to do... Is that another hair? Where did that come from? Hulkenberg has to definitely do 2 stops, which means he's going to fall behind both Leclerc and both Schumacher. That's great stuff. I think I hear my girlfriend laughing in the background, talking to one of the girlfriends about makeup, pedicures, manicures, all that girl crap. Meanwhile, we've got the racing lounge on us. Schumacher gets past, so we're going to go back into medium mode. We just want to play conservative. We don't want to be battling with Perez, unfortunately. We are still battling with Perez. We're making a bit of a move. We're happy for him to push away with those ultra soft tyres. We will definitely overtake him anyway. But it looks like Schumacher seems to be much slower than Leclerc when both the cars are on medium mode. Look at that. He just seems to be able to be a little bit more faster. He was definitely 2 seconds faster that last lap because Schumacher had the door closed by Perez. Let's have a look at this lap. Will we be much faster or slower? De Vries. Someone tell me how to pronounce his name down below. De Vries for RGP actually jumps up in a 10th position. So he's pushing those tyres. He's going to have to come in the pit soon. Look at that, 30% tyre tread. I imagine he's going to fall prey to us very shortly. It's been a good stint by him, but unfortunately those tyres just don't work in the long run. We've got Kevin Magnussen now threatening Leclerc, who's also on the same strategy with those soft compounds. We do not want him to pass us, so we want to make sure that as soon as De Vries pits, we're going to be pushing. We're going to be pushing those cars, and I'm happy for us to remain in neutral mode while everyone else goes back into conserve mode because we've got the tyre tread to burn. So let's go back into high mode because he's going to pit. We're going to have no one in front of us. It's going to be a bit of a safety margin to push. The other thing we have to note is most of these front drivers aren't going to be lapping us. I doubt that Hamilton, given the progress that we've made, the improvability that we've made on our car components, I strongly doubt that we're going to be lapped. So we're going to have to better monitor our fuel from the last race, which was an absolute shocker. It was a disaster. Fuel burning out everywhere. Charles Leclerc does a personal second best sector. Boom, in the money he goes. Schumacher's up into 4th. Leclerc's actually in 7th. So we might be able to do a bit of a strategy here where we hold up some more cars with Leclerc being that front runner. Tyre tread already down to 50% in 9 laps. So there you go. It's the approximate for 20 laps is about even. But as you can see, it starts to wear up quite easily once these tyres get into fit mode, which means we're probably going to have to either go on the super soft set, or the soft set, or the super softs, or the soft set in order to finish. We're not going to be able to finish in the ultra softs. If we did, it would be a big risk. But would the super softs be better to run than the softs, even though the softs have a 15% bonus? Knowledge bonus that we have. I'm not quite sure. Bit of an interesting fact. The thing is, Leclerc's now improving his times. He just set a personal best sector. Let's have a little bit of a look at Schumacher. He's got good fuel burn at the moment, so let's go back into high mode, push as much as he possibly can. Leclerc's doing exactly the same thing. Remember, as soon as we get to 25%, we are definitely going to pit. We're almost at the halfway mark, and it looks like the tyre usage here gets chewed up a lot more, and we are looking to get a little bit hotter as the track starts to heat up. It's only 23 degrees. It is a sunny / cloudy day, but it looks like it's going to be bumped up to about 24, 25 degrees as the race goes on. We're now at 37%. The other thing I want to keep a close monitor on, I don't want to necessarily pit these guys on the same lap because I don't want to double stack them. So we might have to pit Leclerc 1 lap later or 1 lap earlier depending upon how they go. But we will call that as we see fit. Leclerc is now still posting his personal best times, as is Schumacher. Let's have a look at these lap times as we go by. A 1:32, a 1:31 for Verstappen, a 1:33 for Alonso, a 1:33 for Leclerc. Van Dorn does a 1:30. He's back on the ultra soft tyres and he hasn't gotten bias. In fact, he's got the flashing light indicating that he's on conserve mode. He's battling with Magnussen. He's kept Magnussen behind him. Magnussen is on the same strategy as us. Is now being frustrated with the fact that Van Dorn, we've been able to overcut him. So the overcut strategy has worked out for us. What are we going to do here? Are we going to pit Schumacher? If we pit him, we'll definitely have to go in for the other set of tyres. Let's just pit Schumacher now. Come out in the soft tyres, balance stop, park condition, everything looks good to go. We're just past the halfway mark, so I'm pretty happy to come in. There he goes, straight in. As for Leclerc, let's get Leclerc to go back into attack mode. He's got 32% to burn, down to 25. I might have been able to push Schumacher a little bit of an extra tenth in those last couple of laps, down to 25%. It's a little bit unfortunate. Let's watch this pit stop though. Is it going to be a fast pit stop for him? He comes in, good tyre change, out he goes. So he's been able to make up some pace, and he comes out in 13th position with a lot of cars ahead of him that still have to pit. So we can actually go back into attack mode, because that's what we were doing at the start of this race. We might be able to go into high mode for a little bit while he makes up the gap with these cars. I think we might just leave it in medium mode, because we don't want to push up that close that we're behind Bottas. As for Leclerc, we're looking to pit him now. So look at that, he's down to 26%. He's got Van Dorn all over his ass. Magnussen is down to 26% as well. He's going to have to pit. So we're going to come in for the soft tyres just to be safe. Now technically, I could go to super softs. I don't think it's worth it. I think it's worth going to softs. The tyre usage here seems to be a little bit fast. As for a balanced stop, 13% risk of having a mistake. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Hold on to your breath, because every time I say that, something bad happens to him. Let's watch his stop. Let's have a bit of a look at where Schumacher is as well. Leclerc's now back in a 10th. Where is he? Schumi is now pushing on those tyres. That's good. Leclerc comes in. It's a good stop. 6 seconds. So that was good. That was really good. Hopefully he doesn't come out behind too many cars. Nope, he doesn't seem to have done that. So let's go back in a high mode for a little bit longer. Simi comes in the room. Simi, come over. We've got both drivers almost inside the top 10. Once everyone else pits, I imagine that's what's going to happen. Bottas is on 64%. He's got a slow Palmer ahead of him that is indicating that he needs to pit. That's what that green light means to me. What's been happening? You been alright?
Yeah, I'm on the phone with Harris, and she's going to call me back in a moment.
Hey, Harris!
Oh no, she's about to give me a call back.
Hey, Harris!
She's not on the phone yet.
She's Harris Kim. She's from South Korea. Onion. Means hello.
It's Anyo.
Anyo. Okay.
Or Anyo, is it? Or Anyo is like
And if you're Chinese, you might say Hu Chi Fa Choi. Gung Hoi Fat Choi. To all my Chinese fans out there watching it New Year's, because it's Chinese New Year. Gung Hoi Fat Choi.
No,
Gong Hei Fat Choi. Alright, sweet. So we're going to be racing. No more distractions. Everyone out of the room. Out of the house. That's it. Okay, so we're back to racing. Here we come. Palmer's going to have to pit. What I might do for Schumacher is I might actually get him into high mode so he makes the pass as fast as he possibly can, because we don't want to get held up behind this battle with Bottas and Palmer while we're still racing for the top 6. Van Dorn is definitely going to have to pit. How long his pit stop takes is another story for us. But he's going to have to make it. Yes, he goes straight by, so that's good news. We can go back into medium mode now just to conserve that fuel. In fact, you know what? Let's go to high mode. Let's go to high mode for as long as we possibly can. When it gets to about 0.5, then we'll go back into medium mode. Where is our race leader? Hamilton is there. Is he going to lap us? I don't know. Hamilton, I think, is going to have to pit, so I don't think he's going to have to lap us. Leclerc goes up in 11th. He passes Giovinazzi. He's another rookie who's been punching above his weight, so he's been doing a fantastic job as well. Doing a really good job there. We might just go back into push mode for a little bit while these tyre treads are really starting to heat up. In fact, both drivers are saying, hey guys, they're not working as well. Charles Leclerc just posted a personal best time whilst passing another car, so that's also good news. As for Leclerc, he's down to 0.66. Less laps of fuel. Medium mode, here we come. We're not going to get lapped by Hamilton. He's all the way back halfway around the circle. Well, he's not. He's catching up, but look at that. 29% tyre tread. He's going to have to pit the next 2 laps. As soon as Schumacher gets to that 0.5, we're going to go back into medium mode. He's now being chased by Bottas, who doesn't have the tyre life that we have at 75%. And you know what? I think we can go back into attack mode. I think we can keep pushing. There is a big discussion on the forums whether pushing, despite the drivers saying it no longer works, is still effective. In my opinion, yes it does. We can keep pushing because the power condition for both cars are great. It looks like Leclerc's rear wing is looking a little bit if so fact so, but we're going to keep risking it for the biscuit, get both drivers inside the points. Leclerc is chasing down Bottas. He should be able to make that happen. Van Dorn, we've caught up to Van Dorn already. So there you go, Van Dorn's been caught. We're going to go back into medium mode because we should pass him with any seconds. So that's Van Dorn's race over. He's going to have to pit, go right by him, go around the outside, in you go, add a champion. That's a good job right there. So as for Leclerc, he's got 0.5 laps of fuel, less than what he needs. Vettel just posted a personal best time, and we're still getting chased from the race leader. He should have to pit now. He should have to pit this next lap. What was his last time? A 1:30 versus our 1:32, and a 1:32 for Schumacher as well. Bottas seems to be faster. Perez seems to be a little bit slower. I might get Schumacher to keep pushing while he can. But how is everyone else going? Hulkenberg is just ahead of his teammate. I imagine they're going to get team orders. Alonso is only a little bit ahead. He might be able to get to the end at 40% tyre tread. I don't know. That's something we're going to have to keep a close eye out for. Main thing is we keep ahead of Bottas. We don't want to get passed by Bottas and held up. We're pushing. He doesn't seem to be pushing. So that just goes to show you how much better the Williams car is over Schumacher's car, despite it being our main car. But, you know what? I think we could make this work. Ricciardo takes the lead. He's going to have to pit just as shortly as well. He passes Van Dorn, which is going to slow him up. And now looking at Leclerc's gap. Leclerc's gap is too big back to Ricciardo, who has to pit anyway. Hamilton comes out in the ultra soft tyres. Doing that one-stop strategy has effectively worked out for us really well. Just hope we can keep ahead of Bottas when it counts. And that counts now. We're looking a little bit hazily on that fuel, so I'm going to have to go back into medium mode and keep pushing on those tyres. We've got 55% tyre tread versus his 34, so we've got effectively 20 more percent. Charles Leclerc passes Sergio Perez, who had to pit recently. Where is Magnussen in relation to us? He is a little bit further behind. He's not that far behind us. How is our power condition going? I don't want to get caught out. 32% rear wing. Let's go back into push mode for Leclerc. Actually, keep it in attack mode, and as soon as that red light comes up that we've got a bit of an issue, then we're going to pull it back. I want to push enough of a gap to Magnussen that is not going to be a concern. In fact, Magnussen is completely in conserve mode. Well, he was, and now he's pushing back. The gap is 4.5 seconds. Remember, Leclerc is in the second tier car out of the teams, and it looks like Schumacher has given the place back to Bottas. So that's a shame. Verstappen also pits. He comes out in 6th position, so our dreams of getting inside the top 6 has just come a bit, it's just fallen apart at the end of the race. I do not believe Bottas will be able to finish the race on the tyres that he's on. As for Hulkenberg, same story. In fact, Hulkenberg's pitting now, and I imagine Leclerc's going to be able to pass him as well. It looks like we've lost a little bit of rear wing. It's down to 30% with only so many laps to go. Whereas our leader, Hamilton, has pitted, and he is coming around. How far is he from Leclerc, and how much faster is he going? Let's have a bit of a read on this lap. He's up in 8th position. Schumacher is in 7th. Bottas is just ahead. Alonso is in 4th, but he's going to have to pit as well. I hope this little bit of a strain on his rear wing isn't going to cause too many issues. He's got 48% tyre tread left. Schumacher's got 38%, so we're going to go back to medium mode for Schumacher. He's been pushing well enough. Pushing above his weight, 38%, so he's effectively going to have about 20% to play with before the end of this race. What is his gap? The next car back behind us is actually Leclerc, so he's in a really safe spot because he's got his teammate. And we've officially jumped inside the top 6. So, now, what do we want to do? Is there anyone else that we can possibly pass? Alonso was pitting. The gap back is 23 seconds, but when Alonso pits, he's going to come out in the ultra soft tyres. I could potentially threaten to overlap him and push the car to the nth degree, but it's not going to pay, it's not going to work for us. Leclerc can actually go back into high mode. That fuel gauge is 0.07. So we're going to go back into high mode, keep pushing away as much as you can from Hulkenberg. There's a new soft set of tyres. He's going to be threatening for that spot. In fact, he's all over us. Both Force Indias are now chasing us. So what we might do is we might go back into attack mode. Power condition is looking a little bit hazily at the moment. As long as we can try to keep him behind us, that's going to also make sure that Schumacher's able to finish the race on the tyres that he's on. In fact, you know what we're going to have to do for Schumacher is we're going to have to go back into conserve mode for Schumacher. Whereas Alonso coming out in the pits, he comes out just ahead of us and blocks Schumacher briefly. as a result. Let's go into backup mode. I want Schumacher to go back into backup mode. He's got nothing to gain at the moment, but everything to lose, in fact, if something happens. Leclerc at the moment, though, is going to be pushing. In fact, the Force India cars, there's now a bit of a gap. What we're also going to have to do is go back into low mode for Schumacher in order to get that fuel load back. We might just go back into medium mode for Leclerc. He should be able to finish this race comfortably, whereas Hamilton's on the charge. I don't think Hamilton's going to be able to catch up to us by the time that we're going to finish the race. 38% tire tread, that's okay. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to risk it for the biscuit here, ladies and gentlemen. Leclerc posting the fastest time that he's done in the first sector. Can he improve in the second sector? Despite doing that, Hulkenberg and Perez are still catching us. Like, let's not forget that. A 6th and 7th position would be huge for us. How is Schumacher going for that fuel load? He's bringing it down ever so slightly. It's down to 0.24. I'm hoping that he should be able to bring it down enough that it's not going to affect us. The gap... Okay, here we go. Here's what we're going to do. Schumacher, all he has to do is ensure that he stays in front of Hamilton, who's about to finish. Same with Leclerc. If we push Leclerc fast enough in order to leapfrog that he's not going to get lapped, then we're definitely going to finish in 7th position. Which means we can start to push right now. Because even if we do get past, it brings down the lap gauge. The other thing to remember is, Hulkenberg gets past, but we still finish. We end up doing one less. Well, we have to do the final lap, but no one can pass us because they've technically finished the race. As for Schumacher, same thing. Go back into overtake mode, have one less lap of fuel, ensuring that you aren't going to lose because you're waiting on the fact that Hamilton might or might not catch you. So there you go. That's what we're going to do and finish the race as it is. So we're pushing Leclerc as fast as he possibly can, hoping to get across the line before Hamilton we get the blue flag. So this is a huge risk for us right now. We're going to get the blue flag. Hopefully he just passes in order to get by. Yes, he does, but we've got 7th position, so that's a lock-in. Hamilton finished the race, Leclerc finished the race, Hulkenberg finished the race, and Schumacher is going to finish the race on empty fuel. He's going to have no fuel. He's going to finish the race on a smelly, oily rag and get 6th position. He's going to stay within the points, the pointy end of the field. Not only the pointy end of the field, we're going to stay ahead of Force India. We're also going to get our bonus money of $1.6 million for the round. We've never achieved that before. This is our greatest result that we've ever received. That is absolutely amazing. Look at that. 6th position and 7th position for our team. Race engineering back on the board. Ever so close to our rival McLaren. Vettel and Alonso just finishing up the road. Well, not just up the road, a couple of corners around the road despite it being a long track. But that is a huge result for us, guys. 6th and 7th position. I'm hoping we don't get pinged for an illegal component. Look at that strategy. One-stop strategy. One-stop strategy. It worked for us. It didn't work for Button. It didn't work for Magnussen, and it didn't work for Palmer. So, at one stage, we were very close, just in front of Magnussen. It just goes to show you that, like, track position is so important. If you're just ahead of one other car, and then someone else pits, and they come out ahead of you, and the difference is, like, that car length, and you get held up, it completely screws up your race. And that's what happened for Magnussen. Palmer's same case. 12th and 13th. So we finished in front of... What are we? We're technically the 4th team. Because there will be Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren, Race Engineering. So that's a huge improvement for us, guys. Give us a round of applause. Give this video a like. Please give this video a like. That is the best result that we've ever had. So that's huge for us. I don't want to look... Checking car, illegal components. Risk is high. And... Oh! Shoo! Shoo! Oh, baby, come at me. $1.6 billion payout. That's huge. Hamilton gets demoted 4 places for using an illegal component, and we don't even get caught. You know what that also means? We go 3rd best team overall. We scored 14 points. Mercedes only scored 10. So the chairman is going to be so pleased that our team marketability should also go up. 42 points. We're now only 46 points behind Williams. It's too big of a gap in order to get in the last race, but let's be honest, it's a huge result. We're on the board with solid points coming into the last end of the season. That's how we wanted to finish. You always want to finish on a high. That's what we seem to have been able to do. Just through our strategic minds of fixing the car. Let's have a bit of a look. How is the percentages going to go up? It's a 6th position for Schumacher and a 7th for Leclerc. Morale goes up by 10 for young mate Leclerc, back up to 95%. That's good to hear. Look at all these percentages. And you know what I want to do? I actually want to re-sign Schumacher as a result right now. That payout is enough in order to make sure that we sign him up. There is also a new unlock, which is the Super Overtake mode. It's like a re-unlock. Markability goes up by a big 1%. 26% happiness improvement for Alonso de Orleans. He's going to be drinking all the bourbons in the world right now. That is huge. That's big. 3.8 mil. You know what? 23 mil in the kitty. Depending upon how many points we get for the next... Oh, we got an interview. Let's just take this interview. What do they want? Do you have l'equipe? Accept interview. That seemed to be a very testing weekend for Mick Schumacher. What are you talking about? It was the best result ever. I'm not happy with his performance at all. Does that mean markability will go up? Yes, it does. I clicked on not happy and the markability goes up. I don't know. Drama? Is it the Kardashian show? Charles Leclerc finished in 7th, which was well below expectations. How is it below expectations? Oh my god. It was a very poor weekend. He needs to do better in future. All it did was bust up his morale. Alright. Let's go make an offer for Schumacher. Hopefully he gets signed up. Hopefully he's happy with that. You know what? I bet he's going to ask for much, much more money. What was he on? 243%. Okay, his status is now fairly important. Wages are now important. I prefer a medium-term contract. Bonus size isn't very important, which is qualifying. Race bonus size is important. Jesus Christ, like the expectations just went through the roof, did they not? Let's go back into third and reel out a bit of a fish. Before we do that, equal status. Surely, if we go from number 2 driver to equal status, that's going to be a bit of a bump up for him. Let's go 433,000. Lock it in, Eddie. Let's roll. Does that show even exist anymore? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I know in the UK, some guy was like illegally cheating Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and ended up getting sucker punched for it and fired as being a major in the army. But let's see what he comes back with. I'm really interested. Can we renew Leclerc? Obviously, it's not time to renew. He's got 25 months. You know what's weird? Rossi has had 0% morale for months, and he's always threatening, I'm going to leave the team, I'm going to leave the team. He hasn't left the team. In fact, all he's been doing is continually driving our car. If we tried to renew contract, nah. His morale went down the moment that we made him a reserve driver. Like, let's be honest, at 3 stars, he's just not competitive in the World Championship. It's very unfortunate because I need a paid driver. A paid driver, even though you put him in for practice and makes you an extra $200,000, is amazing. His feedback is much better than Leclerc's, which balanced out perfectly because that's the only thing that Leclerc really fades in. Do you guys know a driver who I can jump that's a paid driver in this particular mod and also has good feedback? So we'll wait and see how that happens. And yeah, we'll roll from there, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. The rear wing is 5th base. Look at that. That is the difference. Once you get one component absolutely singing in the epic where it needs to be, the car seems to just work. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. I might look at who's going to be our lead engineer. What are we doing? We've got 13 months now for Sebastian Vigor, but I honestly believe we could do much better because if you have a look at our staff range, he's last. Ugh. RGP, Frederic Kvyat, Matteo Binota, Bob Bell. Is that a name? Bob Bell? Unemployed, Ross Braun. I think we're going to have to offer good Ross a bit of a contract here, guys. What do you think? Yeah? Yeah, me too. Let's see what he's all about. He's got all the unlocked traits. He's good for that. We initially signed him up when we were racing for McLaren. Wages aren't very important to him. Okay, well, let's just offer him the minimum. Contract length, 25 months. I'm happy for you to be on full time. A signing on fee isn't very important. Let's just offer him 450,000. Qualifying bonus. How is that shit not important to you? Let's just go back to 300. If we could get this guy for minimum, that would be absolutely amazing. That'd be like the time that we signed up Mickey Schumacher. Let's see what happens. I guess the expectations are low once you're out of a job and GP2's not even knocking at your door. How is Sam Michaels? Yeah, see, he doesn't have as many traits. So that would be a huge pickup for us to get Ross Brawn. We'll see how it goes, guys. And, yeah, be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe if you're enjoying the series, because I definitely am. And I'll check you guys out shortly. Shh.